Routing in Azure Front Door is a multi-stage process that efficiently manages incoming client traffic to ensure it reaches the correct backend with the best performance and security possible. This sophisticated routing architecture involves several components working together, such as the web application firewall, routing rules, the rules engine, and caching settings to optimize the flow of traffic from the client to the intended server. Let's unpack routing steps. The process begins when a client, such as a web browser or a mobile app, sends a request to access an application hosted behind Azure Front Door. The client's request is routed to the nearest Azure Front Door point of presence on the Microsoft Global Edge network, which minimizes latency. After the client request reaches Azure Front Door determines which instance of the service to use based on the DNS configuration. Azure Front Door acts as an entry point for web traffic and can handle requests across multiple regions. Once the client is connected to Front Door, it matches the incoming request to a specific Azure Front Door profile, which contains the routing configuration. If the connection requires encryption, Azure Front Door establishes a secure TLS connection to ensure data is transmitted securely between the client and the front door. Before the request is routed to the backend, if a web application firewall is enabled, Front Door evaluates the request against a set of WAP rules. These rules will help filter out malicious traffic and protect against web-based attacks such as SQL injection or cross-site scripting. If the request triggers any security rules, it may be blocked or logged depending on the configuration. Next, Azure Front Door evaluates the routing rules that you have configured. These rules dictate where the incoming request should be sent based on factors like URL path, host names, or geographic location. Front Door matches the request to the appropriate route and select the relevant origin group, which contains the backend resources such as virtual machines, web apps, and other services for further processing. The request is then processed by the Azure Front Door rules engine, which allows for more advanced conditional routing. For example, the rules engine might reroute the request based on certain headers, query string, or even user attributes, which enable flexible and customized traffic management. Before sending the request to the backend, Front Door checks if the requested content is available in its edge cache. If the content is static and has been cached, Azure Front Door can return the cached content immediately, which improve response times and reduce load on the backend servers. If the content is not cached or if it's dynamic content that cannot be cached, Front Door selects an appropriate origin from the origin group based on its routing configuration. Factors like backend health, proximity, and the load balancing policies are considered to ensure that the traffic is sent to the best available resource. Finally, once the origin is selected, Azure Front Door forwards the request to the origin, such as the backend server or service, for processing. The origin server handles the request, processes the necessary data, and sends the response back to the Azure Front Door, which then delivers it back to the client. In summary, the routing process in Azure Front Door is designed for optimal performance, security, and reliability. It follows a structured sequence that includes establishing secure connections, evaluating security policies, routing requests based on custom rules, leveraging caching, and selecting the best origin server for processing requests. By using these steps, Azure Front Door ensures fast and secure delivery of web content to users worldwide.